Hi, and we're back. This is the Real Talk with Cystic Fibrosis series. If you guys watched the first episode, that's great. If you didn't, that's fine. Join us right now in the conversation. My name's Piper. These are my friends Summer and Emily. We are in our 30s with cystic fibrosis, and we are here to do real talk about life with CF. And in particular, right now, we're going to talk about what our lives are like today with cystic fibrosis. So I'm just going to dive right in, and I'm going to ask the first question, which is, how has your life been different from what your parents or clinicians or really anyone would have expected a life with CF to be like when you were diagnosed?
Summer.
Emily, take it.
Oh, me? I'm in.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, so yeah, being diagnosed in 1983, the prognosis wasn't awesome. And if you watch the last video, you'll see what they told my parents. But I wouldn't even myself have thought or dreamed that today I'd be a runner that has done like 16 half marathons, biked 500 miles, 300 miles, ran my own nonprofit to raise awareness and funds for CF. I didn't know even like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if this would be a reality. So every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm going for a run, which I hated running and didn't think I could even run. And then I'm going to work and do something that I love to help change people's lives and just like love life. So it's so crazy from when I was diagnosed to what we're living with now. Like, you guys are so awesome and successful and changing people's lives. And that wasn't supposed to happen. So I'm excited about where we're going, but every day is awesome.
Emily, can I just interject there? How do you think you made that happen? I mean, we all know you're on Kaleido, but just asking,
okay, yeah.
like between that and then what else? Like, what do you think has allowed you to do that?
Right. So I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people think that because of Kaleido, I'm able to do these things, but I started doing them like probably 3 or 4 or 5 years before Kaleido, when I was sick of being sick and sick of being in the hospital 2 to 3 times a year, watch my lung function go down. I was just sick of it. So I decided to start really slowly, block by block at a time, running and mile by mile riding, and saw the benefits of that in my lungs, and then just kept it going. And the will, I don't know, I just started to feel better, and I like a good challenge. So I started to just challenge myself more, and it's paid off. And Kaleido just makes it more enjoyable.
I think everyone with CF likes a good challenge. Summer, what do you think?
I would say that too. My being that I'm still here is something that I never expected. And, I really just, like, every day, I don't expect things. I mean, honestly, like, I have had a very blessed life, and I live for each day, and I don't, I can't believe that I went to school and was a cheerleader and traveled the world and, was in dance, and, I've done all these things. I'm so grateful I did them when I did them. And, now, things are a little bit more difficult, and I kind of just live for today, because no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And so I kind of just, that's kind of my mindset, is just live for today. And, you never know what to expect. And I think that goes for everyone, though, CF or no CF. So.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, because
Okay.
I know all the wonderful things you've done, and Emily knows all the wonderful things you've done. And I'm assuming that some of the people watching know a lot of the wonderful things you've done, because your impact has been really wide. But what are you most proud of having done, even with cystic fibrosis? And it's okay if it's being a cheerleader, but I think you've done more than that, personally.
No, I would say my biggest accomplishment is establishing Love to Breathe in 2001. And, I'm an artist, and I send my paintings around the US for different CF fundraisers. And then recently, like, the thing I'm most proud of now is like what I want to be like my legacy are my Love to Breathe tokens. And I started those a little over a year ago, and now they're in over 27 countries and all the states. And if they're working, like I had someone sent me a picture the other day. They were at a cafe locally, and there was one on the table. And they're like, "Oh, you must have just been here." And I was like, "No, I've never been there actually." So someone had just left one on the table for whoever the next patron was. So, they are working, and it's so incredible to see and so rewarding. So those are great accomplishments. I just officiated a wedding this weekend, so I honestly, I love taking on new challenges, and literally I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I might get an opportunity, and I'm just going to run with it if I'm able to. So.
And I have to say that I was lucky enough. Some of you might know about these Love to Breathe tokens, but they're tokens where you get two of them and you keep one and you give one away. And Summer sent me two of them right before my wedding, actually, which was a really great time to spread love. And they're really pretty. They have one of her signature artistic drawings on them. And so I kept one, and the other one, I don't know if I should admit this, but I sanitized it really, really well, like really, really well.
Oh, sure.
And then I never touched it again. I had somebody else send it, but I sent it to a woman who literally, I had my parents touch it after that, but they sent it to a woman whose daughter had just been listed for a double lung transplant. She didn't have cystic fibrosis, but I thought it was important that she get a little extra love at that point. Her daughter was very young. So happy to report that her daughter did get the transplant, but those tokens have touched my life too. So I
awesome. Well, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, I just love to spread love, and the world definitely could use more of it. And my website's on there, so if they do go to lovetobreathe.com, then they can learn about CF, and then I'm spreading CF awareness at the same time. So
that's so cool. And then to answer the question for myself about what I've done that I didn't necessarily think I would be able to. I think the big one for me, I mean, I've done a lot, like so many of us have, and some of them have been sort of like personal accomplishments. I ran a 10K, which is nothing compared to like multiple half marathons / biking 500 miles or whatever. But hey, we each do our own thing.
That's great.
And I've survived 2 double lung transplants, which I think is pretty cool. But I think the biggest thing for me that I had always really wanted to do is I went and I got my JD from Columbia University School of Law, and I was able to practice law on Wall Street for a few years before I ended up retiring to focus on my health and to get my first transplant. And then afterwards, I went back to school and I got a master's in nonprofit management. So I feel like for me, education, I've always really wanted to learn. It was always this big question mark, like, am I going to be able to handle the stress and handle the workload? And I remember when I went to college, my amazing CF doctor at the time said, hey, some people finish college in 8 years and that's okay too. And but I moved across the country and I just went for it and I was able to get it done. Thankfully, my health held out a little bit. But for me, I think education has been a big accomplishment. I really liked it.
I would like to say the same. My parents are both teachers, but I can't say that. Ask them.
I also want to say, though, the 10K, don't discredit that because that's huge. And, working out is a huge part of CF, and it's great to keep your lungs, healthy. And it's a great, you can use that for airway clearance, but it's hard when, your body doesn't allow you to do that. And so I think you just need to do what you can. And I think that's important that people know. Like you said, the 10K is not a huge deal, but it is. And I think I did a 5K a couple of years ago, and I had a jogging stroller in front of me, just with all my oxygen tanks on there, but I did it, and it was such a huge accomplishment. But it's just what I can do, or what anyone else can do. It's just you don't have to run, a marathon. It's just take it at your own pace, and I think that's important to know.
Yeah, and that's a great reminder. Plus, it was the Run to Breathe, so it helped raise money for cystic fibrosis and CF awareness, which is even better. And it was in Central Park, so it was really pretty. So let me ask another question that sort of piggybacks on what we're talking about right now, which is, and Summer, I'll start with you on this one, but how have you reinvented your future with and without cystic fibrosis? And what does that mean to you?
Oh, wow. Well, again, I think I'm still reinventing my future. Like, honestly, like I mean, I honestly live for the day, and I, especially now, like, it's things are a little bit harder and things are a little tougher to do. And, I think being an adult is hard. I think with CF or without, and but being adult with CF, it's tough. And so I think I just I'm still reinventing my future. I live for today, and I hope that I can have a long future. And I'm hoping like the medical advancements that come through, like I'm hoping that they'll work for me, or they'll give me more life, and maybe more energy, and I can do more things, and I can accomplish more. And I think that's what's important, is just to keep reinventing yourself, like Madonna. I mean,
Yeah,
right?
like Madonna, obviously.
Yeah,
Like
You gotta throw that in there, right? No, but I think I just think you just need to keep reinventing yourself, and don't put barriers or limitations on your life. Just do what you can.
yeah. I think the fact that we can reinvent our future is huge in the CF world, because we thought we would only have one future, and that was not a beautiful future. So yeah, like Summer says, reinventing it every day, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, whether you have to take out your own insurance policy now because you're too healthy and you got kicked off Medicare, and now you have to start paying monthly premiums and then deal with insurance. That's reinventing my future, and it's a headache, but it's a good headache, I guess. So yeah, I just reinvented staying active, but then being passionate about not stopping with funding research and awareness for CF until everyone with CF can take a drug like Kalydeco or better, which I think is down the pipeline. Yeah, I just keep looking at the future, because there's no reason to look back, even to yesterday. You just got to keep going forward, and something my parents taught me, and it's something that you guys taught me, everyone out there, and especially you two. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head, and I could talk about reinventing myself, but and we do. I think all of us reinvent ourselves constantly, and just having that opportunity is really cool. But I think what I'm most proud of, and what sort of comes to mind when I think about CF and reinvention, is the fact that together, sort of as a community, and I've been so privileged through my blog, A Matter of Life and Breath, and through the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and the CF Awareness Foundation, and other groups that I've been able to work with, and even donate life to some extent, to have contact with a lot of different people in the CF community. And I have to say, I mean, it sounds cliche, but I believe it with literally every fiber of my being, that we are reinventing our future together. And every time we sort of reimagine what is possible, which is something that, I think Summer and Emily and me and everyone with cystic fibrosis does on sort of a daily basis. Every time we do that, we don't just change the stakes for ourselves, we change the stakes for everyone. And I've already talked about how, like, Summer, your Love to Breathe tokens, they impacted my life, they impacted somebody else's life, who is even outside the CF community, but touched by lung disease nonetheless. And Emily, every time you complete another race, or you sponsor your Rock CF Three Rivers half marathon, or you do these sort of new empowering things, or Summer, you run that 5K with the baby stroller in front of you, and you prove that people on oxygen can do these sorts of things. I think every time you do that, you don't just reimagine your own future, you reimagine what is possible and what life can mean for people with cystic fibrosis. So as silly and maybe cliche as it might sound, I have to give a shout out to everyone out there right now, because I feel like every little barrier you smash down, no matter how small it seems, even if it's just that one thing that you didn't believe you could do, that creates such a ripple effect, and someone else feels it. It might not be on the front page of the New York Times or even the CF Roundtable newsletter, but even so, somebody feels it. And that is so important. I think it's what makes this community so special.
I agree. And I also want to say that we're reinventing the future right now by doing this. Like, the barrier of cross infection is placed on us, and then look at us get together on,
Whoa.
blue jeans, and we're doing this and still talking in the same room, so I think that's important too. And correction, I didn't run the 5K. I walked the 5K, but still I did it. I passed the finish line.
You crossed that finish line. That's all that matters.
But yeah, I think we are breaking down barriers, like you said, and even right now, even doing this is breaking down a barrier. There's options.
I think that's a really cool note to end on, personally. And I just want to thank all of you guys out there for joining us for this discussion. And I want to encourage you to keep breaking down barriers in your own life. And I want to thank you from all three of us and from everyone with CF for being a part of that, and for allowing us to feel the effects of all that you do in your daily life. So with that said, I hope you'll join us again next month, and we'll continue our Real Talk series. And until then, be happy. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.